So online participants, please confirm whether you are getting my voice or not.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see my screen, computer screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I request all the online participants to keep yourself in mute mode. So I request all the online participants to keep yourself always in mute mode, and whenever you need to ask anything or tell something, then only you unmute yourself and immediately please mute yourself. So welcome you all again to this 5 day short-term course titled Fundamentals, Research Methodology in Engineering, a Practical Insight for Researchers. Myself, the course coordinator, Dr. Manoj Kumar Maharana. As I told you, the objective of this program is to share my experience. Though I will not be the 100% speaker, but I will be talking for most of the time out of the total 5 days. So we will have approximately, I think, 35 to 38 hours of talks here. So it depends on how patiently you are ready to sit here, and how small you want your tea break or how long you want your tea breaks. Uh, Before we begin, regarding myself, I am teaching here at this Department of Mechanical Engineering since 30th April 2012. So it is approximately slightly more than 10 years. Whatever the courses I am teaching here, they are available in the form of videos on this YouTube platform. Like you will get power plant engineering for UG students. You will get heat transfer for again UG students. You will get a heat transfer for PG students titled conduction and radiation. So you can say this is advanced heat transfer course. However, this course will not have this convection part. And the last one is a computational fluid dynamics. In addition to these 4 courses, in recent time I have started teaching another new course since last year or so, that is called computational methods in thermal engineering. So meant for again PG students. PG means what we indicate MTech and PhD students. But since I started teaching it very recently, for that video is not available, but I am planning to do the recording in coming days. Hopefully, it will be available by the end of this year 2022. And those who are interested, you can go to this link on YouTube, youtube.com/user/mkmaharana, or otherwise, if you can type my name, the spelling Manoj M-A-N-O-J, Moharana M-O-H-A-R-N-A, probably you will also be able to reach to this channel. I also maintain a Facebook page, and long back I used to communicate with my students mostly through Facebook only, because that time this WhatsApp was not there and there was no strong concept of group email. And I find students more active on social networks than in the class. So if you seek query or try to contact students, the easiest and the quickest way is to contact them through Facebook, because they will be definitely available there. If they are on the bed also, they will be on Facebook. So that's why I thought I will also on Facebook, so that together we will be on Facebook. So I have a one Facebook account, one Facebook page, and for every subject I deal here at NIT Rourkela, I maintain a one separate Facebook page. And this is a subject called Research Methodology on Engineering. As I told you, this is the 3rd program. I started the first program in 2013, slightly 1 year after I joined here. And since then, I'm maintaining one page also on Facebook on this title. Here you can see this photograph uploaded for the second program in 2019. I think recent times I have not updated this page here, but some of the informations related to this short-term course also you will find out on this page. So the link is facebook.com/rme.mkmoharana. So as the title suggests for this course, research methodology in engineering, I do not know what is your expectation, with what thinking you joined this course, what contents you are expecting. But already told you, most of the content I personally feel not available in textbook, or if it may be available, but not exactly in the form I will be teaching here. Uh, for most part of my talk, there is no PowerPoint is there. So I will be talking and I will be demonstrating. So I have a PowerPoint or slides only for 2 to 3 hours only. And first rest of the talks, it will be little bit of writing and live demonstration of whatever I am explaining. You can ask the question, what is research methodology in engineering? I also do not know the exact answer. I decided this title because I thought it is attractive to listen probably. Okay, and what is research methodology engineering, that I also do not know. I am also trying to find out the answer. But what we can say, research is nothing but it is a process of making knowledge. That means understanding. So if you think for a while, in simple sense, what I personally believe, everything exists there in the nature. We are just trying to understand how things work. For example, if you take the case of production of electricity, we have been taught in your textbook that you take, there is some law is there, you take your hand, there are 3 fingers, each finger indicates some direction, then you need a magnet, you need a coil. If you rotate that coil in the magnet, then electricity is produced. And there is a name of a device, what we call a generator. But the device is generating electricity. But have you ever thought why electricity is generated when you rotate a coil to a magnet? Why not water is coming out of that one? Any answer from online audience or offline audience? So if you really believe in God, then the answer I feel is that the electricity is being created by the God. And we just explore that key. This is the way to get the electricity. So actually we are not producing electricity. We just explore the way. So here we will begin this talk with a few lines I have taken from the internet. It says by Galileo, we cannot teach people anything. We can only help them discover it within themselves. That means I also believe the same. I think I will not be able to help teach you anything here in this course. So do not expect anything. Just to believe in your own capabilities. We will just tell you what is available where, and you need to explore them once you go out of this 5-day program. Because 5 days is not a period to learn everything. I started this research activity in 2005. Still, I think I have learned very few things, and I never claim to be a good researcher. And I aim to be a good teacher. And I give efforts to be a average researcher. Always never expect to uh, do in perfection, but your aim should be to do perfect, but you should not wait till you get perfection. That means you will think, अच्छा पहले हम लोग थोड़ा वो रिसर्च मेथोलॉजी का पूरा फंडा क्लियर करेंगे, परफेक्ट हो जाएंगे, उसके बाद हम पीएचडी ज्वाइन करेंगे, तो बाय द टाइम यू विल बिकम बुड्ढा हो जाओगे आप. ओके, देन व्हाट आई पर्सनली बिलीव, there is no value of money beyond a certain limit, and this is what I think. I am not sure whether the this set of words is created by me, but long back I have written in my personal website. Maybe I might have copied from somewhere, or maybe my own creation only. That's why never run behind money, because if you run behind money, money will end up following you. That is my personal belief. You may not agree with me. So if you take a simple example, what Bill Gates eats every day and what you eats every day, probably the small difference being you may be purchasing your chicken or mutton from the sector 2 market, and Bill Gates is not purchasing from the sector 2 market. Okay, somebody is purchasing for Bill Gates. Bill Gates probably never goes to a market. I feel so. Okay, so Bill Gates probably you may be paying maybe 200 rupees per kg chicken. Bill Gates may be paying 2000 US dollar per kg, because Bill Gates has hired some person to go to the market and bring the chicken. So that person's salary also includes to calculate the per kg chicken price also. And the chicken what we purchase, it is killed on the roadside only, and for them it may be some other place, and they purchase from a maybe air conditioned store, we purchase from the roadside shop. So these are the differences, but finally the product is natural product, that is the chicken only. So Bill Gates can never eat a chicken made out of gold. Then whenever you face any difficulty, you should not be in worry or tension, because every problem has a solution, but you need to uh, wait patiently till you get the solution, and you should be creative enough to find out the solution. So with these few lines, these lines I have collected from internet, they are not my own line. We will begin this journey of learning, starting with the title research methodology in engineering. So we'll take these three words: research, then methodology, then engineering. So maybe first 1 hour of this talk you will feel little bit boring, I guess so, I do not know. But after that everything will be mostly not slide based. So when you think about this word research, the dictionary says it is a noun, and to understand what is noun, again you should recall your English knowledge, and English knowledge is also very important, because our medium of learning or writing also English. So here in this program also we have some time for learning English from an English teacher also. Normally we feel English should be learned during high school days only, but we did not learn in high school. That's why we need to learn in engineering institute also. Maybe during your study, maybe after you retire also, you may need to learn this English. So what research exactly, if you try to define, the systematic investigation into and study of material and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. So here important is, you see, it's a systematic investigation. So in day-to-day life, we do the investigation. For example, if you want to purchase a some item, for example, let's say you want to purchase a T-shirt. So what you do, you go to 5 stores, you try to find out which store gives the same T-shirt for the lowest price. You may search with Flipkart, you may search with Amazon. You see Amazon में 2 रुपया कम होता है तो Amazon में ऑर्डर प्लेस करेंगे. अदरवाइज फ्लिपकार्ट में 5 रुपया ज्यादा है, लेकिन उसमें 10 रुपये का क्रेडिट कार्ड का डिस्काउंट है, तो ओवरऑल वो 5 रुपया डिस्काउंट है. So for Flipkart like that. So that means this is also one kind of research. That means you are doing research towards purchasing a T-shirt. But that research is not a systematic. That research is not systematic. It depends on individual person's habit, etc. How they do this research activity in their day-to-day life. But for scientific purpose, it should be systematic. Otherwise, you will get confused with time yourself. So in simple and one sentence line, what we can say, research is the process of making knowledge. That means, for example, in the example of purchasing a T-shirt, you try to understand what is the price of T-shirt at different places on Amazon, Flipkart, or nearby your home shop, etc. And it helps you to make a conclusion. It helps to make a conclusion. That means I should purchase from Amazon only, or I should purchase from nearby shop only. So here also you do the same thing only. So day-to-day research and technical research, you say in one sense there is no basic difference. Okay, so this is a page I have taken from Wikipedia. We should not waste a lot of time here. Okay, And then second thing is your methodology. Methodology again, English grammar says it is again a noun. And by definition, it is a system of methods used in particular area to study or activity. That means you adopt some approaches for finding some facts. That is called the methodology. Okay. So methodology is the important but neglected section in engineering writing. So it depends what method you should adopt for solving a problem. For example, if if you have adopted a wrong method, you may not get the solution, or you may get the solution, but it may take long time, or it may take more money also for you. Sometimes it becomes impossible also. For example, we want to study effect of tsunami. So what is tsunami? Tsunami is a high-rise water flow from the sea towards the land, which is a very rare phenomena. Since it is rare phenomena, we find it difficult to study its effect, and the magnitude is so high that you yourself cannot create a tsunami, the actual size. Only God has the power to create the tsunami. You can do it in a lab scale in your laboratory only to get some idea, but actual tsunami you cannot create. So the alternate available in modern societies simulation. Using a computer, you try to find out, simulate it. So now question here is, should you adopt a computer-based simulation or should you do the actual experiment? If you do actual experiment, probably exact thing you will not be able to do. If you do the simulation, probably exact result you will not achieve it. Then comes your engineering. So everybody sitting here in this room is a engineering graduate, either completed or doing. So again, a funny question, what is engineering? Simply you can say creating new innovative solutions to existing problems. So engineers are meant to solve the problem of the society. And in another sense, we say application of science is called engineering. So why you do the application? The objective is to give a solution to a problem. For example, we want to move out of this world because this So the engineer's job is to serve the society for the welfare of the mankind. And for example, if you consider the earth is round in shape, so human being itself as it is cannot go out of this earth to another earth. So we need something. So what we call as a space vehicle. So you need to create a space vehicle. That means being engineer, it is your responsibility to create it. So using the resources available to you, providing a solution for moving one planet to another planet. So in simple, we can say science is nothing but creative application of scientific principles. So we have studied many principles like Newton's third law: to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. We try to follow it. We build a rocket. We create a downward thrust force. This will give you upward thrust force to you. Based on that principle, the rocket will take you from one planet to another planet. Again, there is something called your gravity till to a limit of this planet. Okay, so we do the calculations that how much force is required so that you will cross the barrier of the gravity of this planet and you enter into the barrier of gravity of the other planet, so that from there on you can easily move towards that planet because that gravity force will help there. And this gravity force will nullify the effect once you cross this certain distance from this planet. Okay. So the objective of this short-term course is to understand first and foremost important thing, why one is want to involve in research. That means Simple question is, should I do PhD or not? Because research means we first need to be doing PhD. So am I fit for doing PhD? Is it good for me? So many questions are there. You should try to answer it. Okay. And for doing that one, whatever things required that you have to do, like uh, you need to do some literature review. You will discuss what is literature review. Okay, everything in detail. So then you have to identify a problem for yourself, research problem for your PhD degree. Then you have to develop a research proposal. You will need some funding also. You need to propose to your supervisor, propose to your university or institute. Okay, and you have to justify it also. It cannot be unjustified proposal. You will give a proposal here. For example, our NIT Rourkela, I want to build a spacecraft. I need 300 million US dollar. So nobody will accept your proposal. Okay, it should be acceptable also. Okay, then whatever methodology you will adapt, everything you have to explain. Otherwise, people will not believe you. Okay, and whatever information available, effectively you have to use them. And finally, once you do everything, your research is completed. You do analysis, you complete it. Finally, you need to disseminate it. Disseminate means you need to transfer it to the next generation. For example, there are different modes to transfer the information to the next generation. Like one is your word to mouth. So few facts it have been told. I tell to you, you tell to your children will tell to next generation, like that. But in that process, there is a loss is there. That time written technology was not there. So once written technology developed, everything, whatever Einstein or Newton told, that exactly you can know. Otherwise, we can also do experiment that if I will tell one thing to one fellow, second fellow will tell to third, like that. After five fellows, sixth fellow will tell a different story. Loss of information in the process, it is called. So that's why you need to prepare a well written and concise report, that is called a thesis. That will be remain in the institute depository for future generations to read. And whoever wants to do research in that field, they will read your thesis first, then they will start their journey of research again. So it is the objective of this program is you will learn different aspects of activities you need to do during the journey of your acquiring a PhD program. Who are the stakeholders of research? That means who are directly or indirectly involved with research. So first is a, normally we say educational institutes. Okay. So educational institute means it is nothing but your walls only. So physically educational institute is not doing anything. So whoever the members of educational institute, especially the students or what we call as the research scholars, we call them. The faculty members, so who teach to these students, so they are also partner to this research. And if you move in the upward direction, then comes the nation, because who is going to benefit out of the research? In a whole, the nation is going to benefit. For example, whatever I invented as part of my research, I may not be using it directly. Maybe directly also I may be getting some money because of some patent I produced as part of my research. But overall, our country will also benefited. For example, whatever product developed out of my research, it will be sold in the international market. It will give you some US dollar to my country also. It will give a boost to the economy of my country also. So the nation is also a stakeholder in the research. Then above the nation, you have this globe. For example, there will be some problems common to everybody, like global warming. So any research output for global warming is going to benefit each and every individual on this planet Earth. So the whole universe, in the sense also, for example, if you think for very broadly, our planet is going to be also the stakeholder in the research. And soon we are going for a inter interplanetary system. Probably we are maybe shifting to another planet after maybe 50 years, so like that. So that time it is going beyond a single planet. Okay. So now question arises, why are we teaching all these things here? This is because being a researcher, we are part of this great human project where our objective is to survive in this. What is the actual objective? If you see in a deeper sense, to survive with time, like dinosaurs, they gone out of this space with time. They could not survive. So our objective is that we survive with time till infinity goes. Time till infinity goes. And if we take the statistical data, how much expenditure is done by different countries towards development of research, here you will find out, you can see, identify Israel, a very small country in Asia, they are contributing around 5% of their GDP. So 5% is 1 by 20. So for every 1 rupee they do the expenditure, so 5 paisa going for the research and development. Okay, then comes your South Korea, 4.81, slightly less than Israel. Then comes your Sweden, 3.33. Then comes your Japan, 3.26. Austria, 3.17. You see, all these are very, very small countries. Germany, 3.0. Denmark, 3.0 again. USA, 2.83. So USA is a very big country in size, but you see their expenditure is very small compared to expenditure by the Israel. It is not the net expenditure, it is the expenditure by percentage. Okay. Then Belgium, then comes your Finland, then comes your France, like that. So there are so many countries. So now question arises, where are we? Our country, India. This is a big question. So India at 0.65. Okay. So just to compare Israel and India. So by size we are very big, and by magnitude we are investing is very small. So output is proportional to the input always. So unless and until you do some expenditure, you cannot get out of the research. So if not today, if you reach to a position as a decision makers, it is your responsibility to increase this value 0.65, if not 5, at least towards the value 5. And you see in the world level, this is the graph with time here, average value, it is somewhere between 2 and 2.22. Okay, so worldwide only 2% of the GDP is being invested on research. Again, you see how they are doing. This is also, there will be some called international agreement is also there. A country is bound to invest this value, otherwise they will also not do that one also. Because of international agreement only we are investing something, otherwise that much also we will not be investing. Then we will see the broader definition of this research. Basically, it is an art aided by the different skills. What are the skills? Skill of inquiry, skill of experimental design, skill of data collection, skill of measurement and analysis. And measurement analysis needs interpretation and presentation. Okay, so you can say what is inquiry? That means you should have the always the curiosity to ask the questions to yourself. Then only you will try to get many answers. Sometimes you will see children will ask so many questions. ये ऐसा क्यों है? इसका color blue क्यों है? Red क्यों नहीं है? Like this, for example, what is the color of sky? So you see it will be different color at different time actually. So normally you say sky is blue, but it is not like that. Sky color varies with time. Now question is why it is red now? Why it is blue now? Why it is white now? So further there are, if you ask the question, then only you will try to get the answer. So you will understand why the color is now at this moment. Then R&D, this is called research and development. So is a process that acquires new knowledge. and that this development is a process that applies knowledge to create new devices or new effects. So without R&D, new things will not come. So since we are doing lot of R&D, lot of R&D organizations are there. That's only, for example, you see, till 5 years back, we are riding two-wheeler or four-wheelers based on petrol or diesel only. And since our childhood, we have been taught that ki petrol and diesel are going to exist. वो तेल खत्म हो रहा है, इसलिए तेल का प्राइस भी बढ़ रहा है. सो यू माइट हैव थॉट कि अभी आगे क्या होगा, मेरा टाइम पे क्या होगा. अभी तो हमारा जो फादर फादर वाले थे उनके टाइम पे तो तेल मिल गया. अभी हम बड़े होंगे तो कैसे चलेंगे, हम पैदल जाएंगे नहीं ना. तो वी नीड सम R&D. सो नाउ कमिंग योर EV, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स, हाइड्रोजन फ्यूल सेल व्हीकल्स, हाइड्रोजन बेस. Okay, so this is only result of the research only. Okay, this giving a new device or new, like a few years back, talking with somebody who is not in front of you was impossible. Later on, it became possible, but you cannot see them. There was for telephone. Now you can see also, you can talk also. You do not know what is the distance. Somebody sitting in USA, you are here. There is no time lag. Okay, but some time ago, lot bigger system was required, like live broadcasting in TV. Then only you used to see. Now it is live through your mobile itself. Okay, this R&D is a model of numerous innovative and out of the box activities. So I will not go through these definitions I have taken from this internet. But to understand, is it really required or not, need of R&D, you will see here. There is an organization called Indian Oil, which is a government of India organization called Navaratna. Navaratna, why they call it? They are giving lot of profit to the country. That's why. Why they are giving profit? Because they are selling oil. They are purchasing from somewhere. They are selling here. And here in India, in the present scenario, everybody wants ki agar if I get a लाइसेंस टू ओपन ए पेट्रोल पंप, मेरा लाइफ हो गया, क्योंकि उसमें कस्टमर को एडवर्टाइज नहीं करना है. नोवेयर यू सी कि इधर तेल सेल होता है, साबुन का एडवर्टाइजिंग होता है, लेकिन ऑयल का कोई, पेट्रोल डीजल का कोई भी एडवर्टाइजिंग नहीं होता है. बट स्टिल यू रन देयर, यू मेक ए क्यू. दैट्स ओनली एवरीबॉडी वांट टू बी ओनर ऑफ ए पेट्रोल पंप, because of which only India law is surviving. But please remember, every with time everything will change. For if you take a simple example, sometime back there is something called PCO. What is PCO? Any idea? Public call office. It was not any government office, you can say. People doing some business, they used to have installed a telephone. They have invested some money, and people will go there to call the near and dears, and from out of that they used to get some profit. There was a time, I remember my BTech days, we used to stand in queue in front of a PCO to talk with my parents, because at that time there was a concept, in daytime they call it is full charge, after 9 PM it is 50% rate, and after 11 or so it was a 1/4 rate, something like that there. So you want a discount one. So after 9 PM we will talk here. So we will be making queue in front of the PCO around 8:30. Okay, nobody will call, everybody will be standing there only. Only whoever rich students, I feel they used to call before 9. Otherwise you will be waiting there. So somebody standing at 8:30, then I will reach here 8:35, 8:41 fellow will come. Everybody will be waiting only. Why they are waiting? They are waiting till 9 PM. जब 9 बजेगा तो कॉल लगाएंगे, उससे पहले होगा तो फुल रेट लगेगा. Again you see your watch, 9 बज गया, लेकिन तभी भी पहला वाला नहीं जाएगा, क्योंकि उसका वॉच में 9 बज गया है, लेकिन एक्चुअल जो BSNL का भी 9 बजना चाहिए, तभी जाके हाफ रेट लागू होता है. सो फॉर फैक्टर सेफ्टी यू वेट फॉर 3-4 मिनट्स. तो आपका घड़ी में जब 9:04 होता है तब एंश्योर कि हाँ अभी पीसीओ का टाइम 9 हो गया होगा. देन समबडी विल टॉक. व्हेन यू यूज्ड टू टॉक, उधर एक डिस्प्ले होगा, उसमें दिखाएगा 3 रुपया, फिर 4 रुपया, 5 रुपया, 6 रुपया, 8 रुपया, मतलब इट वाज इंक्रीजिंग लाइक योर हार्ट बीट. जब 20-21 रुपया का बोला, हाँ अभी हम फोन रख रहे हैं, बस हो गया. टाइम वाज देयर. Okay, there were long queue. So whoever the owner of PCO, it was just like a government service. So continuous revenue, no need of advertising. But you see, there is no PCO here. PCO is vanished from the world. So if you rely on PCO, means तुम्हारा life बर्बाद हो गया. तो अभी टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज हो रहा है तो तुमको भी नया टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्ट करना, बिजनेस में नया टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्ट करना पड़ेगा। फिर देन कम द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ मोबाइल रिचार्जिंग। फिर पीसीओ के बाद सेम पीपुल दे स्टार्टेड सेलिंग कूपन्स, वो छोटा छोटा कागज कूपन, स्क्रैच कूपन, यू स्क्रैच इट, वो कॉइन लेके फिर उसमें से कुछ कोड लिखा होगा, वो एसएमएस करो, फिर तुम्हारा मोबाइल चार्जिंग होगा। दैट पर्सन यूज टू गेट सम कमीशन। अभी वो भी डूब गया है। अभी पीपुल डू देयर मोबाइल चार्जिंग देमसेल्फ, खुद ही मोबाइल चार्ज करते हैं। एंड रिसेंटली समबडी टोल्ड कि 10 साल के बाद मोबाइल भी नहीं रहेगा। समथिंग विल कम, दे कॉल इट वेयरेबल डिवाइस। तो आपको एक चश्मा मिलेगा, चश्मा लगा उसी में सब दिखेगा इधर ही। आई डोंट नो हाउ द प्रोडक्ट वर्क, मे बी यू प्रेस समवेयर हियर, हाँ यू कैन सी, हाँ मम्मी कैसे हो, हाँ बस बात कर, मतलब आपको दिखेगा, इधर लगेगा, और कुछ दिन के बाद आंख के अंदर एम्बेड हो जाएगा, लाइक दिस। सो टेक्नोलॉजी इज चेंजिंग सो फास्ट, you cannot rely on a single business. That's why I want to say here. That's why if you feel that your father or parents or anybody is there in Indian oil, their job is secure, you do not feel like that. Their job may also go at any time, because time is changing very fast. Okay, so that's why Indian oil is also doing a lot of research to survive. What they are doing, you go to their website, they will find out they are doing research on green alternative fuels, because they also know कि सऊदी अरब में तेल खत्म हो जाएगा तो इनका कंपनी डूब जाएगा। ओके, whoever this people, who the toppers from today who prefer to join Indian oil, they will lose their job. Okay, that's why they started doing research R&D on how to survive in future. So they started working on hydrogen energy. Okay, so then you take up the Hindustan Petroleum, their alternate company. Again, they are also doing a lot of research here, hydrogen PSA technology. Okay, then now the world is going towards your electric mobility. I told you electric vehicles here. So Tata recently launched an electric vehicle. Okay, I think probably for the first electric car in India. I am not sure, but I guess so. But still technology changing very. I personally would recommend to purchase EV today. Okay, but if you want to have a photo in your Facebook, you should purchase it today, because if tomorrow purchase, everybody will have EV, so nobody will see your photo. Okay. Then you see Mahindra also having a vehicle called Mahindra E Verito, then Mahindra E2O Plus. So many new technologies vehicles are coming. Whoever is interested to have a photo liked by many people in social networking, you should browse their website and think for purchase now only. And then comes to the word science. Science comes from the Latin word scientia and the sire. Scientia means knowledge and sire means to know. So science means to know the different knowledges, you can say. So the formal definition, you can say, the systematic observation of natural events and conditions in order to discover facts about them and to formulate laws and principles based on these facts. Like we say Newton's first law, Newton's second law. That means it is a law formulated by Newton. How formulated? By observing the nature. So I told you, science is nothing but exploring about the nature. So we have already read the story. There was a person called Newton. He was sitting below a apple tree. हम लोग सोचेंगे भाई एप्पल ट्री हमारे इधर क्यों नहीं है? And when one apple fall down, instead of eating that apple, he started thinking why it fell down, because of which gravity G discovered. Had that Newton eaten that apple, our life have been very simple. हमारा फिजिक्स बुक में G नहीं होता, उसका वैल्यू भी याद रखना नहीं पड़ता. So you just think yourself whether you should be thankful to Newton or because of Newton you are in trouble now. Okay, and this simple observation of the nature gave to a natural law called F is equals to mg. The equation seems to be very simple, but its analysis is very difficult and very deeper. Okay, so you see, science is an intellectual activity carried on by humans that is designed to discover information about the natural world in which humans live and to discover the ways in which this information can be organized into meaningful patterns. So what we do, we observe it and we make it simple statements for other fellows not to waste their time. Because Newton once observed, अभी हजार हजार लोगों को और ऑब्जर्व नहीं करना है, अभी सिर्फ जहां पे भी एप्पल गिरा मतलब उसको खा जाओ जल्दी से, बिकॉज ऑलरेडी जी इज देयर. Okay, so we should be thankful that he invented G, and so that we never need to think about G again. And then we will see very interesting called science versus innovation versus engineering. This three words we will try to understand. Scientists study the world as it is. Engineers create the world that has never been. So what we say, engineers build the world, like Eiffel Tower, Howrah Bridge, okay, built by the engineers. It was not existing. It is imagination of somebody and creation of somebody. Okay. So what scientists do? They try to understand the existing things, and engineers, they create new things. And the science always aims to understand why and how of the nature. Already told you, just observing nature and understanding the nature. Engineering is to save the natural world to meet the needs of the society. So we need a communication network. So engineers built a railway line. We want a faster communication. We built a high-speed bullet train. And what is innovation? Introducing something new. That is called your innovation. So that's why I say innovative idea means new ideas. To understand this innovation, we will see. And normally you might have impression भाई innovation means बहुत कुछ हाई फाई होगा, बहुत ग्रेट होगा, हम तो छोटे आदमी हैं, हमारा ब्रेन बहुत छोटा है, हमारा बैकग्राउंड एजुकेशन बैकग्राउंड इज नॉट वेरी गुड, हमारा मम्मी पापा तो 30वीं फेल है और हम तो मैट्रिक में 12% लाए थे, पहली बार दूसरी बार में कैसे कैसे पास हो गए. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. इनोवेशन हैज नथिंग टू डू योर बैकग्राउंड एनीथिंग, जस्ट यू नीड इन ए डिफरेंटली फॉर सम टाइम. वो लाइफ इज वेरी बिजी ना, लोगों के पास टाइम नहीं होता सोचने के लिए, बट आप थोड़े टाइम के लिए सोचोगे तो बहुत कुछ इनोवेटिव कर सकते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू सी हियर, here in photograph you can see there was a dog. Because of some accident, the dog lost the 2 legs. So dog is a 4-leg animal, so difficult for the dog to walk in the 2 legs. So somebody prepared, you see something, a structure with 2 wheels, and the structure is just to fit to the body of the dog. It can change the life of the dog forever. इसमें स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ मटेरियल और सिमुलेशन कुछ ज्यादा नहीं चाहिए. वो मार्केट में ढूंढना है, छोटा मोटा चीज प्लास्टिक लेके आओ, कुछ मोल्ड वोल्ड बना के छोटा सा बॉडी बनाओ. इट मे नॉट बीन द फर्स्ट एफर्ट लाइक दिट, बट आफ्टर 4-5 अटेम्प्ट्स यू कैन. इनिशियल अटेम्प्ट आप थोड़ा 2 व्हील लेके उसको कुछ ऐसा स्ट्रक्चर बना के वो कुत्ते को बांध दो उसके साथ, देन यू सी वेदर द डॉग इज एबल टू वॉक इज नॉट एबल टू वॉक और नॉट. उसके बाद फिर अच्छा ठीक है, उसको बॉडी फिटेड करेंगे तो डॉग के लिए थोड़ा आसानी होगा. लाइक दिस यू डू लिटिल बिट एफर्ट, यू विल बी एबल टू डू. अभी आपको लगेगा अरे ये क्या है, ये कुत्ते को हम इसका करके क्या मिलेगा आपको, बट यू जस्ट इमेजिन फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑफ द डॉग. वो जिंदगी में कभी चल नहीं सकता था. बिकॉज ऑफ योर स्मॉल एफर्ट द डॉग विल बी एबल टू मूव freely. It may not be as freely as in his natural legs, but definitely his life becomes comfortable. अभी तो कहाँ से मूव भी कर सकता है, खाना वाना अपना थोड़ा बहुत ढूंढ सकता है. Here is another example you see. Again in this case you see this leg is lost here for this tortoise. Again somebody has taken the wheel of chair or something like that. तो स्टूल के नीचे होता है ना, उसी को लगा दिया. तो through this also now it can move on the land also. Just you need to think for a while, small things only, but this will be called a innovation. इसके लिए आपको कोई हार्वर्ड MIT यूनिवर्सिटी जाके या कोई शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्स करके कुछ बीटेक डिग्री एमटेक डिग्री नहीं चाहिए. विदाउट डिग्री आल्सो यू कैन डू दिस थिंग्स. दिस इज आल्सो कॉल्ड द इनोवेशन. हाउ वी डू नो थिंग्स. हम लोग को कैसे चीजें पता चलता है? समथिंग आर इंस्टिंक्ट। इंस्टिंक्ट मीन्स वो भगवान जो है ना आपके हार्ड डिस्क में डाटा फिट करके भेजता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड, भेजे में होता है बॉर्न। फॉर एग्जाम्पल व्हेन स्नेक विल बॉर्न, उसको तो कोई शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्स नहीं देता ना भाई, तुमको कोई मारने आएगा तो उसको काटना है और उसके बॉडी में जहर डालना है। नो शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्स, नो बीटेक डिग्री, बट it is a natural and instinct that if you try to catch a snake, snake will try to bite you. This is called instinct. मतलब वो उसका भेजे में भगवान ने फीड करके भेजा है। Okay, and then something you see it sometimes you see there will be a religious or meditative experience. That means through culture also you have been taught many things. जैसे सुबह नहाना है, यू हैव टू टेक बाथ इन द मॉर्निंग। तो हाउ वी टॉट इन आवर हिंदू कल्चर, भाई सुबह नहीं नहाओगे तो भगवान गुस्सा हो जाएंगे। बट व्हाट इज इट्स एक्चुअल थिंग? टू कीप योरसेल्फ क्लीन एंड हेल्दी। लेकिन तुमको बोले भाई तुम साफ सुथरा रहोगे तो आदमी नहीं करेगा, इसलिए उसको भगवान के साथ लिंक कर दिया कि तुम नहीं नहाओगे तो भगवान गुस्सा हो जाएगा। ओके, सो दिस वे आल्सो यू नो इट। देन फ्रॉम अथॉरिटी, somebody told us, okay, and from the childhood we have been told that ki Delhi is the capital of India. तो you never go and try to see कि भाई दिल्ली में कैपिटल है या कैपिटल और कहीं है। वो बुक में पढ़ा था तो हम उसको बिलीव कर दिया भाई दिल्ली में ही कैपिटल है। Then sometimes a tradition, so we have lot of traditions, so from traditions also we learn many of the things, and the best thing is your experience, see yourself। मतलब जब तक भूत देखा नहीं है तब तक बिलीव नहीं करना है। ओके, पीपल विल से कि भाई इधर भूत है, बट यू शुड ट्राई टू सी योरसेल्फ। अनलेस अंटिल यू डू नॉट सी, यू शुड नॉट बिलीव, दैट साइंस सेज। Then you will try to see the scientific revolution. Briefly will go 15. I am not covering everything because whatever I explored from literature or internet, I gathered here. 1543 there was a book by on the revolutions of the heavenly spheres. Nicholas Copernicus has written, and then on the fabric of the human body by Andreas. Then you should try to see origin of this philosophy. We call it a PhD. What is the full form of PhD? Doctor of Philosophy. But I think philosophy we consider this to be a subject of arts, not engineering or sciences. So question arises, why we call it Doctor of Philosophy? So this is important to understand what do we mean by philosophy. Okay, so to understand origin of philosophy, again I told you that link to this PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. Same question, why it is called philosophy? Why not something Doctor of Engineering or Doctor of something? We are not called Doctor of Science. Doctor of Science is also already there. Okay. So what is philosophy? Philosophy is the study of how things in the broadest possible sense hang together in the broadest possible sense. So language seems to be a little bit difficult. Yes or no? मतलब जो भी कुछ चीजें हम देखते हैं वो ऐसा क्यों है, उसको पूरी नजरिया से आपको देखना पड़ेगा. So try to understand from every perspective. That is called your philosophy. So in history you have read that there was a philosopher. He was a philosopher. So many, but nowadays you do not find any philosopher because people do not have time to think. They have only time to run. So if you want to be a philosopher, you have to time to. You should have plenty of time to think. Without thinking, you cannot do anything. But अभी लोगों के पास time नहीं है. People are running behind what? Money, 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 money. I told you. Huh? Again, madam? Fame. No, it is not fame. Fame is a way, but actually their intention is money only. Intention is money only. So आपको भी हम बोलेंगे कि आपको भी नाम देंगे लेकिन पैसा नहीं देंगे, सैलरी नहीं मिलेगा, आप नौकरी करेंगे नहीं ना, बोलेंगे हाँ आप हमारे CEO हो लेकिन सैलरी नहीं मिलेगा. Nobody will work. So it is only for money. So deep sense is money, 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 money. Okay. So there is something called your natural philosopher. So how things developed science? Basically, what we know today as science, in past it was developed as a result of philosophy. Philosophy means deep thinking. In the Middle Age, long time back, there were specific areas of practical professional knowledge where peoples were thinking for lot of times. Like there was an argument in earlier days whether the dunya goal hai ki flat hai. So I had also the same impression initially in my childhood कि भाई हम अगर अभी चलते जाएंगे तो कहीं तो दुनिया खत्म हो जाएगा, उधर तो गिर जाओगे फिर. Everybody might have thought same thing only because we never seen the world to be round. So to see the round तुमको थोड़ा ऊपर जाना पड़ेगा. उस टाइम पे टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं था, कोई तो ऊपर तो गया नहीं, जो भी जंप किया 2, 4, 6 मीटर ही गया होगा, और सबसे ज्यादा से ज्यादा गया तो कोई हिल के ऊपर गया होगा, वो भी हिमालय तक भी तो नहीं गया था. But if you go reach to the Himalaya also, visibility decreases, so you cannot see a longer distance also. You can reach to a greater height 8 kilometer from the ground level, but you cannot see longer distance. आपको ऊपर जाना है, फिर longer distance तक देखना है, तभी पता चलेगा कि दुनिया गोल है. Just imagine कि how they concluded that the earth is round, like a sphere. Have you ever thought for a while? एक सेकंड के लिए. That means that person might have applied so many things, common sense, whatever may be, logic, I do not know. I have also never thought it. But you see, they concluded and science proved today that the world is round, spherical. Okay. So you see, natural philosophy look carefully at the world itself to find out how it works. मतलब आपको थोड़ा बैठ के आराम से सोचना है, उसको बोलते हैं नेचुरल फिलोसोफर. So being a scientist, you become a natural philosopher because you think for a while. मतलब आप सोचते हो कि ऐसा क्यों है. That's why you see, गाली जो पुराना जमाने में जो लोग थे फिलोसोफर, हम लोग को एक एंगल में साइंटिस्ट बोलते हैं, लेकिन उन्होंने कहीं से बीटेक एमटेक पीएचडी नहीं किया. टुडे साइंटिस्ट इज ए डेजिग्नेशन. If you work in a research organization like ISRO work, they give a designation called scientist. But from our childhood, I hope you will agree with me, हम लोग का जो impression है कि साइंटिस्ट मतलब कोई डेजिग्नेशन नहीं होता है, वो लाइक पॉलिटिशियन, मतलब जो वो प्रोफेशन काम करता है वो पॉलिटिशियन बोलते हैं. साइंटिस्ट भी आल्सो सेम लाइक दैट कि हु डू ए वर्क, साइंटिस्ट. बट जो लोग का डेजिग्नेशन साइंटिस्ट है, दे आर नॉट एक्चुअली साइंटिस्ट, दे आर बेसिकली रिसर्चर. They are basically a researcher. So by definition they are scientists, but they are not the actual scientists what we mean them. So there is something called scientific method. They are having standard stories. As our HODs are told, you will learn a lot of scientific methods. But I will not be teaching any scientific method here. I told you I will be teaching only the experiences. So practically whatever required. Scientific methods are available in books. So you refer them, you will find out them. Okay. So what we do here, we collect evidence, we record the data, we analyze the data, and we construct a theory to explain. जैसे वो मर्डर मिस्ट्री अब देखा होगा, वो डिस्कवरी या किसी चैनल्स वगैरह में देता है कि मर्डर होता है पहले, उसके बाद फिर पुलिस आता है, उसको कॉर्डन करता है, फिर उसको देखता है कहाँ पे ब्लड गिरा है, कुछ हेयर सैंपल या कुछ भी गिरा है, फिर उसमें से डीएनए निकालते हैं, फिर उसको एनालाइज करके फिर एक स्टोरी बनाते हैं. सो वंस द स्टोरी फिट्स, फिर वो आदमी को पकड़ा होगा, लेकिन उसके थ्रू ही वो प्रूव करते हैं, फिर उस स्टोरी के थ्रू ही उसको ग्रिल करते हैं, फिर उसके बाद वो कॉन्फेस करता है. अगर स्टोरी नहीं बनेगा तो उसको वो लोग पकड़ नहीं पाएंगे, उसको ग्रिल नहीं कर पाएंगे. ओके. आफ्टर दैट वी जनरेट ए हाइपोथेसिस. आई होप यू आर acquainted with the word hypothesis. Okay, hypothesis. Then test them with experiment. We generate a hypothesis. Hypothesis means what you feel, you just write down. That is hypothesis. It may be true, may not be true. So you have to do experiment to understand whether true or not. If hypothesis surviving tests, it may become incorporated into a broader scientific theory. मतलब कोई अगर किसी ने हाइपोथेसिस प्रेजेंट किया, वो हो सकता है वो फॉल्स भी हो जाएगा, हो सकता है विथ टाइम ये नेचुरल लॉ भी हो जाएगा. So theory is always empirical, always open to possible falsification. That means, for example, whatever proposed F is equal to ma, till so far, so many people also try to prove that this is not right. And it may happen that someday it may be proved to wrong also. But until and unless it is proved wrong, up to that day it is right. But always open to possible falsification. That कभी भी वो change हो सकता है. So science is both the system of acquiring knowledge through these above methods we discuss here, and body of knowledge that is required. Okay. So again we learn something, but again our important question: what is hypothesis? Very simple word. It is an educated guess based upon observation. मतलब थोड़ा भेजा का इस्तेमाल करके कुछ बोलना. That is called educated guess. ऐसा नहीं कि वो जो अंधेरा में तीर मारना जैसा नहीं है, ब्लाइंडली नहीं बोलना है, थोड़ा भेजा लगा के दिमाग लगा के कुछ कंक्लूजन निकालना, उसको बोलते हैं हाइपोथेसिस. बट प्लीज रिमेंबर, इट इज नॉट प्रूव्ड येट. बेस्ड ऑन योर एक्सपीरियंस एंड तुम्हारा जो भेजा है उसके बेसिस पे यू गिव ए स्टेटमेंट, बट अनलेस एंड अनटिल प्रूव, somebody may prove wrong also. So that's why hypothesis is testable and falsifiable. That means it can be proved wrong also. Hypothesis can be proved wrong also. Then we will go through brief history of landmarks here. We go to the history, you will find out there was something called Aristotle, known as a Greek philosopher. I hope you have read the word called philosopher. Now you understand what that person was doing. Not thinking for self, not for money, thinking for something, giving solution to the society. Okay. So at that time they believed that all problems could be solved by thinking about them. मतलब if अगर आप उसके बारे में सोचोगे तो definitely कुछ तो आपको idea मिलेगा कैसे उसको solve कर सकते हैं. So like Aristotle thought that heavy objects will fall faster than lighter ones. अगर आप दो लेते हैं, एक पत्थर लेते हैं, कागज लेते हैं, दोनों को अगर सेम हाइट से गिरेंगे तो Aristotle had an impression that कि heavy ones will come first, lighter ones will go slowly. Is it true or not? This is true or not? How many people believe this is true? Please raise your hand. Only one. Okay. How many people feel that is false? And whatever the third fellows who have not raised the hands. So there is two options, only true or false. So since you have not raised your hand for true, you are bound to raise your hand for false because third option is not there. That means you are in deep trouble. Actually, this is false. Already it is proved. Galileo went to the tower. You might have heard the story. वो एक कागज लिया और एक स्टोन लिया, दोनों को एक साथ गिराया. They falls at the same time. But there are some many things are there. अभी आप कागज को कैसा बनाया है, उसके ऊपर कितना buoyancy force आता है, so many things are there. Okay. So what Aristotle did a mistake was he never tested his idea. Aristotle सिर्फ यही बोला कि हम अगर पत्थर कागज लेते हैं,
in vacuum they'll fall together.
In vacuum they will fall together. But you see, we just trying to understanding what they did is Aristotle never did the experiment and try to understand it. Aristotle सिर्फ बोल दिया कि भाई पत्थर जो है ना जल्दी गिर जाएगा, कागज स्लोली गिरेगा, लेकिन Aristotle को भी एक्सपेरिमेंट नहीं किया था. ओके. सो दैट वाज द मिस्टेक बाय Aristotle. बाद में गालीलियो आया. ये दो 384 BC, मतलब 1564 प्लस ये 384, इसको मिला लो 1890, अराउंड 2000 साल, अराउंड 2000 ईयर्स के बाद गालीलियो आया. एंड व्हाट ही डिड इज, दिस गालीलियो इज कंसीडर्ड टू बी द फर्स्ट ट्रू साइंटिस्ट. व्हाई? बिकॉज he did the actual experiment on this statement. What he did, He went to the Leaning Tower of Pisa and he took two different objects, and it is observed that both strikes to the ground at the same time. It is vacuum is not required. Without vacuum also both will fall at the same time. And that's why always there is a popular saying called seeing is believing. तो unless देखा नहीं है कि दोनों एक साथ गिरता है, कोई believe नहीं करना है. And once you see, you do not have other option unless other than believing. That's why science में जो लिखा है उसको आप चैलेंज नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि science has already proved things. And science does not accept spirits. जो भूत को अभी तक साइंस ने एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया, क्योंकि हम लोग अभी तक देखा नहीं है. हालांकि कुछ डिस्कवरी में वो वीडियो में दिखाता है, लेकिन we do not know whether ये मैनिपुलेटेड वीडियो है क्या है. Today everything is possible in video. Okay, so to solve a problem, what are the options available to you? Whether you are doing PhD or MTech or BTech thesis, whatever may be, or your day-to-day life also, you have three options there. What is the first option? You do the experiment of the problem. उस problem का experiment करो और उसको observe करो और उससे conclusion निकालो. This is one option. Second option is you write the problem in the form of mathematics, what we call as the governing differential equation. And वो equation कहाँ से है? Philosophers observed the system and proposed these equations. You find an analytical solution to the equation. For example, if you take d square t by dx square equals to 0, this is a governing differential equation to a heat conduction through a 1D plane. सिर्फ इसको डबल इंटीग्रेट करना है, जो कि 12th स्टैंडर्ड में टीचर ने पढ़ाया, लेकिन उस टाइम ये बोला नहीं कि भाई ये इंटीग्रेशन तुम आगे काम आएगा. Is your teacher told in 12th standard where you are going to use integration? I am sure no teacher told you. That is a problem of our education system. They only teach, they do not tell where you will use this. That's why we feel mathematics to be boring. Where the fact is that mathematics is the foundation of engineering and sciences also. जितना मैथमेटिक्स स्ट्रॉन्ग होगा तुम्हारे लिए उतना कंफर्टेबल होगा, लेकिन मैथमेटिक्स टीचर जो पढ़ाते हैं कोई बोलता नहीं कि कहाँ पे यूज होगा. दैट इज देयर वीकनेस. सो यू नो t is equals to c1x plus c2. अभी c1 c2 कैसे निकालेंगे? बाउंड्री कंडीशन से. दैट विल गिव यू t is equal to some value. So this is the solution. This is called analytical, also known as mathematical solution. So what you need here? You need only pen, paper and your brain. तुमको कागज चाहिए, कलम चाहिए और तुम्हारा दिमाग चाहिए. सिर्फ लिखते जाओ, लिखते जाओ, लिखते जाओ. Okay. So now question you can say, सर हमको PhD में एक्सपेरिमेंट करने के एनालिटिकल प्रॉब्लम लेना है. The beauty of analytical is you need pen, paper and your brain, but the other side is that it is either zero or white, black and white. मतलब मिला तो मिला, बहुत कुछ मिला, नहीं तो कुछ नहीं मिला. मतलब 5 साल हो गया, ऐसा हो सकता है 5 years हो गया, आपका कुछ नहीं हुआ, अगले दिन सुबह सो के उठे पता चलो डेरिवेशन कंप्लीट हो गया, आपका PhD हो गया. We will see what is the shortest PhD degree thesis. दुनिया में सबसे छोटा PhD thesis कितना बड़ा होता है? Have you seen PhD thesis? आप में से किसी ने देखा है ऑनलाइन पार्टिसिपेंट्स और ऑफलाइन पार्टिसिपेंट्स? कौन सा साइज का होता है PhD thesis? हाँ, more than 100%. This is my PhD thesis for everybody's reference. This is my PhD thesis. Okay. Let me check. I also forget it. 141 pages. 141 pages. 141 pages. My PhD thesis, but my master's thesis was 110 pages. My master's thesis was 110 pages, and from my master's thesis I got 2 publications in ASME Journal of E-Transfer. Okay. So 110 pages, 2 journals. That means 55 pages, 1 journal. So here it is, how much I told you? 141. So how many papers you expect here? 3 at best, but I think I got 6 papers or something. So conclusion is I can say it should not be straightforward. There is no link to number of publication with your thickness, and there is no link to what should be the thickness of your PhD thesis. Okay, and this is another thesis. So is it a what type of thesis you say? Class 10 or 12 or BTech, MTech, PhD or what you expect? ये मेरा PhD thesis है, ये एक thesis है. I do not say which thesis. Which one you expect? This is also a PhD thesis. So I received this PhD thesis as a gift when I was in Germany as a dad scholar. So I was there for 6 months in the year 2009. In Germany, there is a culture that when you complete your PhD thesis, you distribute your thesis hard copy to your friends. So I received this PhD thesis. Okay. No, it is not actually very small. Physically look is small, but its size is, I think, 135 pages. This is 141 pages. It is 135 pages. Both are almost same. Only this is physical size is small. This is local printed. This is printed by a professional publisher. This is printed by a professional publisher. So physical size is small, but actual size is same. Dono. But this looks to be very attractive. This looks to be very attractive. Of course, we have a question also. What should be the length of the PhD? The thesis that we will go to that questions also later on. So then third option you have, being a research scholar, BTech or MTech or PhD, you take the help of your computer, try to solve the problem. That is called computational method. And what you need here, computational method means you need a computer. You need your brain also, because your brain should be able to operate the computer. So in principle, you need a computer and yourself. And depending on situation, you may need a 20,000 computer or you may need a 20 crore price computer. Hardware configuration will vary. Some problems require very good hardware, like you need server, workstation, etc. And sometimes some problems can be solved using a ordinary desktop computer, like the computer I'm using for my presentation also. So being a researcher, you just remember there are three things are there. You can opt for a experimental work, you can opt for a analytical work, or you can opt for a computational work. So which one is the best? I told you, analytical you need pen, paper and your brain only. Computational you need a computer and your brain. Experimental, obviously you need lot of money because you need to purchase many things, you do assemble everything. So which one you feel is best? Experiment. Why? Because a lot of money is required, that's why. Actually, there is no absolute answer. I will say if you can use all three together in your work, then this will be very good. And in my case, I started the journey of my PhD with initial thinking that it will be 100% experiment. Initial planning was to do a 100% experiment, and finally output is that it takes I think 15 to 20% analytical, because one full chapter is analytical, and for the rest part it is 50-50. I think experiment I can say 25, and the remaining is simulation. The remaining is simulation. So why it is happened? Because I started with the intention to do 100% experiment. I did lot of experiments, but results were not coming as we expected. So please remember, experimental work likely to give sometimes very good publication, but sometimes it will give you it will not give you publication also, because you may not be getting the result also. So because of that, I tried to understand why I am getting these results. Results were not as expected, so I did some simulation to prove that my results are correct, and I found that results are correct only, but it is not as per conventional imagination. Later on, I found that I had already wasted a lot of time. I had around 3 years. So time is also important. So there are two things. One thing is also there is a time bound is there. ऐसा नहीं कि आप जिंदगी भर काम करते रहो, पैसा तो नहीं मिलेगा ना. Government is paying for 5 years only nowadays. So within 5 years I have to finish. So I gave little bit stress to simulation also. Then I managed to get some work. So finally combined everything. But I got my first publication after 5 years of my PhD. 5 years of starting my PhD. That means in the 5th year I got my first publication. Okay. But my MTech was for 10 months. And from 10-month work, I got 2 publications. The 10 months work, I do not say during my MTech I got 2 publications. Out of MTech work, I got 2 publications. The first publication I got 2 years after I completed my MTech, and the second publication I got 6 years after I completed MTech. Okay. So I completed MTech in 2006 May, submitted the first paper in 2006 May, it published in 2008, second paper published in 2012. But out of that work only, it 2 publications. And for PhD, it took 5 years for me to get the first publication. And I think I left the campus after 5 years, 8 months. And finally, I got total 6 publications. So all publications come in the last year only. That means you should not be discouraged that you are not getting any result during the initial years. You have to be little bit patient. Okay. And since if in my case, I got first publication from MTech for working for 10 months only. However, after 2 years, however, same did not happen in PhD also. Because if I apply same logic, I should have got in 5 years, 5 years divided by 10 months. So 60 by 10, 6 into 2, 12 publication I should get. I did not get 12. So it will not work reciprocatingly. Okay. So the overall essence of the story is that you should be very much patient while doing your research work. Okay. So here you see, if you try to understand analytical work, you see here in this mirror, one child is very much curious to know who is the another child there on the other side of this mirror. So to understand it, is he trying to do some experiment? कि try to touch this, वो mirror को हाथ लगाओ, फिर उसको देखो क्या होता है, फिर उसमें देखता है कि equal action is, अगर I move my hand this side, उसका भी हाथ उधर ही जा रहा है. Like this, slowly you will understand कि अरे नहीं ये तो कोई नहीं है, ये तो कुछ तो मेरा जेरोस कॉपी है, something like that. And numerical methods, already I told you, you need a computers. Okay. Now we will come to a very important question. I think it is very, very important. What is the duration of PhD program? So anybody having any idea what is the duration of a PhD program? Minimum? No, I'm not asking minimum. What is the duration you tell? 5 years, 6 years, 3 years, 2 years, 8 years? Is there any answer? Okay. Then second question you may come to mind, how much do your PhD program? So I am writing some questions here. Okay, if you have answer, you can tell me. Should I do PhD or not? You might have thought, who are in MTech, और जो already PhD में हो गया कि भाई मैं तो कोई गलत तो डिसीजन नहीं लिया ना, that also you think like कि हमको अभी भागना चाहिए कि नहीं? How long it will take to complete PhD? मतलब अभी 3 साल हो गया, और कितना साल लगेगा? Okay, how many papers required to get PhD? Will I be able to complete my PhD? So, have you ever thought about any of these questions any time? दिमाग में कोई आया है लाइफ में? कितने लोग PhD कर रहे हैं? How many people are doing PhD? Okay, have you thought about this any of these questions? दिमाग में कोई आया है नहीं आया है? Online participants? So before you start your PhD program, you should have answered to all these questions. Otherwise, you should never join a PhD program. This is my personal recommendation, not because it varies from person to person. So it is important to have
Sir,
answer
in
to each and
sir, in my college, sir,
please
two
continue.
SCI and one Scopus is required to complete. Sir, in
Okay,
my
2
college, two SCI and one Scopus is required.
Okay, but please understand that today there is nothing called SCI journal. आज के दुनिया में SCI journal exist ही नहीं करता है, तो आपका इंस्टीट्यूट कैसे 2 SCI journal के लिए बोल सकता है? We will talk about this. Today there is SCI word does not exist as on today. Today is the 23rd July 2022. SCI word does not exist in this universe. So we will discuss and after this program you should take up this matter with your institute कि आज के डेट में SCI word exist नहीं करता है तो आप कैसे बोल सकते हैं कि 2 SCI journal चाहिए, है ना? We will discuss it. But what I want is before you join for a PhD program, you should think for multiple times. Okay? क्योंकि ये ऐसा रास्ता है, if you go, it is a one way traffic. अगर पीछे आओगे तो बहुत कुछ नुकसान होगा, अगर आगे जाओगे हो सकता है बहुत कुछ नुकसान भी हो सकता है. I have seen many people dropped out of PhD also, but I am not telling this to discourage you. I am telling this to encourage you that if you have not have answer to these questions, you should first understand today only. उसके बाद कोई भी ड्रॉप आउट का ऑप्शन नहीं आएगा, मतलब चांसेस नहीं आएगा. ओके, सो विथ ऑल these questions in mind, can somebody explain me what is a PhD program? Whoever joined in program, जो PhD में है, PhD कंप्लीट किया है और थिंकिंग टू जॉइन PhD, कभी सोचा है PhD होता क्या है, क्या करने के PhD मिलता है? इन सिंपल टर्म यू नो कि हमको जैसे somebody told you कि we need to SCI one Scopus, we will get PhD. But actually that is not the answer. First you should understand कि PhD क्या होता है, कितना काम करेंगे तो PhD मिलेगा. उसके बाद ये बहुत सारा सवाल नहीं आएगा आपको कि अभी मेरा 5 साल हो गया, गाइड बोल रहे कि नहीं अभी और तुमको 2-3 साल काम करना है, 4-6 पेपर निकलना है. So this is very
So
important
doing
part.
something new in that area.
Very
Which is
good,
not
doing something new. But who will decide
done
कि
till now.
who will decide or who will define this is something new or not? This is also important. Why I am telling, I have observed in our institute, specifically NIT Rourkela, there is a program called Executive PhD program. And I personally feel most of the students who have joined, because this program started very recently, most of the students joined without understanding what is PhD and should they join PhD or not. They just jumped into immediately because they found that there is a new scheme where you can join it easily, and they probably they felt कि जैसे MTech में 2 साल के बाद तो C या D या P जो भी मिलेगा इधर एक डिग्री मिल जाएगा. With that assumption probably they joined, and I guess most of the students I guess will end up in leaving the program themselves because they have not understood what is PhD, how much effort is required. Can I do the PhD? Should I do the PhD? Can I devote the time? So many questions are there. After getting answer to everything only, they should have taken decision, but they jumped into by looking into this line. Okay, so now I will try to explain it in a very simple manner. I hope nobody have explained you in this way. Okay, so we will start to answer this question, what is a PhD degree? कब आपको PhD डिग्री मिलेगा? उसके बाद आप कभी गाइड को नहीं पूछेंगे कि सर मेरा कब PhD खत्म होगा, है ना? और इफ यू एक्सप्लेन दिस टू योर फ्रेंड, अभी तुम्हारा फ्रेंड भी नहीं पूछेगा अरे तुम्हारा कब डिफेंस है. You will also not ask to your friend, अरे तुमको और कितना साल लगेगा. Your parents will also not ask you और कितना साल लगेगा, है ना? अब जो और इसके टाइम में और एक वेरी बिग प्रॉब्लम फॉर रिसर्च स्कॉलर गेटिंग मैरिड, वो शादी नहीं होता है बिकॉज इट इज नॉट ए जॉब, इट इज नॉट ए समथिंग लाइक दैट. मतलब आप बहुत बड़ा आदमी हो लेकिन आप जॉबलेस हो, कोई लड़की नहीं देगा आपको. दिस इज ए बिग प्रॉब्लम. सो अगर इफ यू आर लुकिंग फॉर ए गर्ल, इट इज योर रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कि भाई PhD क्या है वो तुम्हारा जो फादर इन लॉ बोलने वाला है उसको भी समझाना पड़ेगा. ओके, So I will share a interesting experience before we move forward. I was new to IIT Kanpur. Just ही join करके 2-3 महीना 1-2 महीना हुआ था. One day I was walking out of the academic area. Academic area means it will be inside the campus area where study takes place. Like this is we are in the academic area. Outside academic area you have your residential area. Okay, two-part residence. One is student residence hostel. One is faculty and staff residence quarter area. So I was going out of academic area. जब मैं गेट से बाहर निकलने की कोशिश कर रहा था तो I was going on a cycle. So one person was standing and he stopped me and he started asking me in English, do you know this person? Just to imagine कि आप रेलवे स्टेशन से बाहर आ रहे हो, आपको कोई खड़ा होकर पूछ रहे भाई आप ये हरीश को जानते हैं क्या? Do you know हरीश? तो what will your reaction? हरीश is not the president of India. कि भाई आप बता देगा हाँ हरीश है. तो I asked the same question कि sir, how you can ask this question? It is a IIT Kanpur, there are 8 to 10,000 students are there. You are just telling the name. I asked what it is doing. Now he is doing PhD. Which branch? I do not know. Which year? I do not know. He do not have any answer. Only one question कि ये आदमी को आप जानते हैं क्या? And from the dialect of that person, I understood that that person belongs to Odisha. Then I started talking with him in Odia, and what I understood that he was a retired chief engineer with government of Odisha. That means a very big person. He went there specifically to search for this student. What the student is doing, later on I helped him to trace that fellow because I am from Odisha. So there is a society for all Odia people. I contacted the senior students from Odisha. Through them I managed to contact the student. I helped to connect him. So what was his motive? Why he was there? He was there to meet that boy who was a prospective son-in-law for that person. Just to now think while. He was a retired chief engineer. He understands importance of an engineer. Engineer will only understand importance of engineer. When I was doing PhD, when I used to go to my village, people will ask कि अभी क्या कर रहे हो? मैं बोला कि मैं IIT कानपुर में पढ़ रहा हूँ. तो बोले अरे तुम बीटेक करने के बाद फिर ITI कर रहे हो? They asked me like that. So they do not know the difference between IIT and ITI. So like that, जैसे हम आपको बोला कि PhD स्टूडेंट के लिए प्रॉब्लम है getting married, both for boys and girls equally. जिनके फैमिली में कोई PhD होल्डर होगा, they will only understand the importance कि हाँ अभी समझना है कि लड़का PhD कर रहा है, मतलब this is the best time to grab him, क्योंकि उसका PhD डिग्री हो गया, जॉब मिल गया तो उसका मार्केट वैल्यू बढ़ जाएगा. और भी आपके लड़की की तरफ नहीं देखेगा, उसका डिमांड बढ़ जाएगा, है ना? क्राइटेरिया चेंज हो जाएगा. अभी बोलेगा डाउरी में ज्यादा चाहिए, ब्यूटी में बहुत ज्यादा चाहिए, बहुत कुछ क्राइटेरिया बढ़ जाएगा. इसलिए अभी उसको पकड़ लो क्योंकि ही इज इन द क्राइसिस जोन. अभी उसको जो बोलेंगे वो सुनेगा, लेकिन सारे लोग नहीं करेंगे. बोलेंगे भाई हम वी नीड अ सन इन लॉ जिसको कि गवर्नमेंट नौकरी हो, मतलब वो हाई स्कूल में पियोन है, वो तहसीलदार ऑफिस में क्लर्क है तो अच्छा है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. बट PhD स्कॉलर नहीं, क्योंकि उसको जॉब मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा वी डू नॉट नो. जनरल पीपल विल टेल, बट जिसके फैमिली में कोई भी PhD होल्डर होगा दे विल अंडरस्टैंड द इंपोर्टेंस. आई फील since you are a retired chief engineer, an interesting story is that where you are staying in IIT Kanpur, you are staying at his daughter's home. His first son-in-law is a professor at IIT Kanpur. Then आप son-in-law इधर है तो उनके थ्रू तो आपको पकड़ सकते हैं. He said no, I cannot tell this to job to my son-in-law ना, मतलब हमारे दावत को नहीं बोल सकते ना भी इस लड़के को बुलाओ और हम उसको शादी के बारे में बात करेंगे. तो without informing anybody, he went there, stayed with the daughter's home. और बेटी ने पूछा होगा क्यों है ना, आपको देखने के लिए घूमने के लिए आ गया, और लेकिन इंटेंशन इज डिफरेंट. He went there himself, standing near the academic area, looking for this boy. Probably God helped him to connect with that boy through me, because I was from Odia only. Otherwise, it was, I think, difficult for them matching. That boy probably given an advertisement in matrimonial site for looking for a girl, and this fellow being an engineer and his first son-in-law being a professor, understand the importance of a PhD. तो बोले कि अभी PhD खत्म होने से पहले इसको भी पकड़ लो, क्योंकि बाद में ये तो नहीं आएगा हमारे पास. Okay, so now we'll move forward to the important question. What is PhD? I call the illustrated guide to a PhD. This is not my own creation. I read somewhere and I am present here. Just to imagine, we will draw a circle to represent whatever the total knowledge exists as on today on this planet Earth. Because Earth के बारे जो भी ज्ञान है वो हमको मालूम नहीं है. तो दुनिया मतलब हमारे लिए अर्थ है. ये दुनिया में जितना ज्ञान है, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथमेटिक्स, बायोलॉजी, व्हाट एवर यू टॉक, एवरी नॉलेज, अगर हम उसको रख सकते हैं, यू इमेजिन इट इज रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय दिस सर्कल. ये नॉलेज कैसे है? विथ टाइम, like Einstein, Newton, so many people they discovered something, like my thesis also tells something. Okay, everything is there in this circle. Okay. Then what you do? You were born. So as I told, born instinct, you have learned something. कि अगर छोटा भाई आपको मारता है तो उसको काट दो. Okay. Parents never teach it, but you do it. So it is a born instinct. Then you take admission like that. Okay. You take admission LKG, UKG, something is there. I think pre-nursery, nursery, but our time it was from class 1 only. You complete your elementary school. थोड़ा ज्ञान आ गया. वो सारे ज्ञान को अगर हम इसी में अगर ओवरलैपिंग करेंगे तो योर नॉलेज, दिस सर्कल रिप्रेजेंट्स ऑल नॉलेज इन द यूनिवर्स. ओके. और उसमें से थोड़ा आपने ज्ञान अर्जन किया है, थोड़ा, because you have just completed your elementary school, basic school. Your knowledge we represent by this blue dot, bigger dot. इतना ज्ञान आपने percentage में maybe 1 to 5 whatever you calculate something. Okay. Elementary school, after that you will go for higher education. Okay. So you complete your high school. This is elementary education 1 to 5. This is 6 to 10. इसमें ज्योमेट्री, मैथमेटिक्स और कुछ नया चीजें आप सीखा. ओके. दैट मीन्स आपका और थोड़ा नॉलेज बेस बढ़ गया हाई स्कूल में. आप ब्रिलियंट स्टूडेंट भी हैं. ओके. देन आफ्टर हाई स्कूल व्हाट यू विल डू? You will go again further higher studies. Okay. You will go for further higher studies. So what you do? You join a 12th standard, then you do a bachelor degree, BTech in some specialization. Today is the computer का जमाना है. So you get, let's say for example, what is called JEE first rank holder. You join some engineering program, let's say BTech in computer science. Okay. तो ये जो है, this is your BTech. You learn some common engineering, और ये है तुम्हारा BTech in computer science. So in graduation you learn something common subject, you learn something specialized subject. Like science also, you say BSc, physics, maths, chemistry, something. So something is common is there, something honors is there. Honors means some extra you read in a particular topic. Okay. So आपका कुछ जनरल नॉलेज आ गया है, ये कुछ स्पेशलाइज्ड नॉलेज आ गया. Suppose I am in computer mechanical. So for me this domain. Like this, these specialized domains are there, in different directions are there. Okay. So out of many directions you learn one direction. थोड़ा specialized हो गया. Bachelor degree. After bachelor degree what you will do? You will go for a master's degree. तो मास्टर्स में व्हाट यू डू? अगर बैचलर्स अगर मैकेनिकल है तो एमटेक भी मैकेनिकल में करेंगे. अगर बीटेक मैकेनिकल एमटेक सिविल होगा तो हाइब्रिड हो गया, तो उसमें थोड़ा गड़बड़ है. ओके. तो वी विल डू मास्टर्स इन द सेम. व्हाट यू डू? वी विल स्टडी मोर डीपर इन द सेम डायरेक्शन ओनली. ओके. सो व्हाट यू डू? यू डू ए मास्टर्स, और थोड़ा स्पेशलाइजेशन हो गया. ये हो गया आपका मास्टर्स. In the same direction you study. Okay. So after masters you are very much motivated to be a PhD scholar or a researcher. So you do take admission in a institute or a university in a PhD program. Okay. So what you do? You start your PhD, you complete your okay, you completed your coursework and completed your literature review. We will learn what is literature review, everything. Okay. And you have read lot of research papers. You are doing research for maybe 2 years, 3 years, day and night. You are reading, not socializing with your friends. because you want to be just like Einstein or Newton. You learn lot of things. So what are these lot of things? This one. So in that direction, you learn everything that exists today. Learning means what? Learning means what exists today. वो किताब बुक पढ़ के उससे पढ़ा है. You have learned everything. Okay. So now you may be in 5th year, 6th year, 7th year. अभी टेंशन है कि घर वाले बोलेंगे भाई तुम जल्दी पीएचडी करो और तुम्हारा शादी कराएंगे, है ना. वो लोग बोल रहे कि भाई तुम्हारा पीएचडी डिग्री नहीं दिखाओगे तो हम तुमको लड़की नहीं देंगे. So you are very much desperate to get your PhD degree. Now question is, इतना सारे पढ़ने के बाद are you entitled to get a PhD degree? The answer is no. आपने सीखा है, क्या सीखा है? आपने तो दुनिया को कुछ नहीं दिया है. You have not given anything. Everything exists today because I told you ना, the circle represents every information exists today. किताब में कहीं पे भी है, उसमें से आप सीखा. कितना सीखा? You calculate percentage wise. ये तो 2% ही होगा, 1%, 2%, 4% होगा. मतलब आप कुछ नहीं सीखा है. मतलब दुनिया को कुछ दिया नहीं है, सिर्फ आपने लिया है. So you have not learned anything. You have not taught anything. You just copy pasted yourself. Okay, that means you are not entitled. But you do not have any other option. You have to go working. अभी 5 साल हो गया. If you quit the PhD, 5 years, 6 years is lost. गाइड बोलेगा अभी 6 महीना और 1 साल 6 महीना में हो जाएगा, 3 महीना हो जाएगा, 4 महीना हो जाएगा. लाइक दिस इट इज गोइंग ऑन गोइंग. अब तुमको लगता है अभी छोड़ देंगे तो अच्छा है, पता नहीं कितना 6 महीना आएगा. ओके. सो व्हाट यू डू, you need to go on giving your effort. You should not quit at that point. Okay. So what you do, what should be your goal now? Now you reached, you see, if you focus to this area now, you see you have reached to the circle. Circle, what this represents? Radius. What is radius? The limit of knowledge in that direction. मतलब दुनिया में उस दिशा में, मतलब मैकेनिकल मेरा है तो मैकेनिकल में जितना ज्ञान है वो सब में हो गया मेरा, अभी और कुछ बचा नहीं है मैकेनिकल में, नॉट वेटनरी साइंस. ओके. सो यू कैन एक्वायर एवरीथिंग टुगेदर. सो जैक ऑफ ऑल मास्टर ऑफ नॉन हो जाओगे फिर. देन यू स्टार्ट फोकसिंग योर अटेंशन टू क्रॉस द बैरियर. योर ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू क्रॉस द बैरियर. मतलब जब तक ये बाउंड्री क्रॉस नहीं करते आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. मतलब जैसे वो छक्का बोलते हैं ना क्रिकेट में, वो बाउंड्री क्रॉस करेगा तभी 6 काउंट होगा, बाउंड्री अंदर पड़ेगा तो 6 नहीं होगा. तो इट इज सेम सिचुएशन. सो गिव योर एफर्ट, गो ऑन कंटिन्यूइंग. वन फाइन मॉर्निंग व्हेन यू रियलाइज दैट you have pushed this barrier by a margin and you have created a small dent here. You have created a small dent. Okay. वो डेंट अंदर नहीं होना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, ऐसा होना चाहिए. Okay. So that means you have contributed something. What is this something? This something is, sorry, जो ग्रीन कलर है, this green color, this is something what it was not existing in the universe yesterday and exists today, and it is because of you, and it is because of you. So you have crossed the barrier or the limit of knowledge in that direction. That means now you are eligible for a PhD degree. And for what you are getting a PhD degree? You are getting a PhD degree for this much only. अगर आप इधर जाएंगे, here you are getting a PhD degree for this one only, not acquiring everything. That means आपको तो बहुत छोटा काम ही करते हैं, ज्यादा कुछ नहीं करते, छोटा काम करते ही PhD degree मिल जाता है. That means PhD degree is very easy. So in that sense you have to motivate yourself, and this dent created by you will give you a PhD degree, and this is called PhD degree. अभी हर रोज सुबह उठ के you have to ask the question yourself, have I created this dent in the circle? The dent is on the away from the center, not towards the center. If the answer is yes, फिर सुपरवाइजर को कॉल करना है कि सर मेरा तो हो गया, अभी मैं आज डिफेंस दूंगा शाम को, है ना. सुपरवाइजर विल टेल नहीं शाम को तो नहीं होगा, अभी थोड़ा प्रोटोकॉल है, अभी 2 महीना नोटिस पीरियड है, ये और ठीक है, हमको 2 weeks के बाद करा देंगे, बट पहले दिस शुड बी विथ यू। ये सब कुछ काम का नहीं है, दिस इज वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम। I hope I try to explain you when and how you will be able to get your PhD. Until that period, never disturb your supervisor. Okay, fine. Then motivation level. This is an interesting photograph I have taken from somewhere in internet. You see, when you are in the masters, your motivation level is at infinity. Your motivation level is at infinity. क्योंकि मास्टर्स में आपका एक कॉन्फ्रेंस पेपर आ गया और इंस्टीट्यूट ने आपको 5,000 रुपया भी दिया टू गो टू ए कॉन्फ्रेंस टू प्रेजेंट। मतलब सरकारी पैसा में एक ट्रिप भी हो गया। सो योर मोटिवेशन लेवल गोज टू इन्फिनिटी कि भाई अभी आगे पीएचडी करेंगे, है ना। और लेकिन स्लोली जैसे मास्टर खत्म होते होते वो आपका मोटिवेशन लेवल डाउन होता है, क्योंकि आपका जो थीसिस में काम नहीं होता है। सर बोलेंगे नहीं अभी तो अच्छा काम नहीं किया है और थोड़ा काम करते रहो। और somehow you manage to get the एमटेक, क्योंकि एमटेक में तो फिक्स टाइम फ्रेम होता है, तो कुछ भी काम किया तो एमटेक छोड़ देंगे। फिर आप थोड़ा तैयारी करके यू मेक ए ट्राई, 2 4 6 8 इंटरव्यू देने के बाद यू गेट एडमिटेड इनटू पीएचडी। तो पीएचडी के बाद फिर आपका मोटिवेशन लेवल बढ़ना स्टार्ट होता है ना। लेकिन जो कोर्स वर्क में थोड़ा खराब हो गया तो फिर मोटिवेशन लेवल फिर डाउन हो जाता है। फिर गाइड थोड़ा एनकरेजिंग करता है, फिर मोटिवेशन लेवल अप होता है। तो लाइफ में क्या होता है ना, मोटिवेशन लेवल अप डाउन है, तो होते होते अभी पता नहीं कब सडनली फिर आपका एक दिन जो डेंट क्रिएट हो गया, तो आप फिर पीएचडी डिग्री मिल गया तो मोटिवेशन लेवल पूरा एक्सट्रीम टॉप में पहुंच गया। फिर बोलेगा अभी तो सब हो गया, अब क्या चाहिए, अब कुछ नहीं चाहिए, अब तो हमारा पीएचडी हो गया। फिर उसके बाद आगे कुछ नहीं करेंगे, अभी तो चलो मोटिवेशन लेवल फिर डाउन। सो लाइक दिस लाइफ में मोटिवेशन विल बी अप एंड डाउन होता रहेगा, लेकिन आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव हमेशा उसको आप करके खींच के रखना है। एंड यू नीड टू फाइंड आउट वेज टू कीप योरसेल्फ मोटिवेटेड till you get your PhD and beyond your after also your PhD degree. Okay. And some important informations. How should be your relationship with your supervisor? Because you see, I'm not saying this because I am a supervisor. This is a general. If you see from one angle or perspective, I was also a student one day. Some people say supervisor is like God, क्योंकि supervisor के हाथ में सब कुछ होता है। In one sense बहुत कुछ होता है, in other sense कुछ भी नहीं होता है, because it is you who do the effort. Supervisor or your guide is a part of this journey. मतलब आप जो भी मेहनत करते हो आपके लिए करते हो, और सुपरवाइजर तो सिर्फ सुपरवाइज ही करेगा आपको। ये काम तो आपको ही करना है, सुपरवाइजर को नहीं करना, क्योंकि सुपरवाइजर को दूसरा पीएचडी डिग्री नहीं चाहिए। उसको चाहिए होगा तो वो कहीं पे फिर एडमिशन कर देगा, है ना। और इंडिया में 2 पीएचडी डिग्री का डबल सैलरी नहीं मिलता है, सैलरी सेम है, तो कोई भी 2 पीएचडी नहीं करेगा। एक्सेप्शनली पीपल आर डू ओनली 2 PhDs. Otherwise, why supervisor will do PhD second time? So never. So only you have to do the relation yourself. तो इसलिए सुपरवाइजर के साथ कभी रिलेशन खराब भी नहीं करना है, क्योंकि सुपरवाइजर इज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग। ह्यूमन बीइंग का हमेशा क्या रहता है, जिसके साथ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है तो हमेशा उसका नेगेटिव थिंकिंग आएगा। मतलब हमारा नेबर के साथ झगड़ा हुआ, हम सोचेंगे अरे उसका प्रॉपर्टी डाउन हो, उसका बेटे का नौकरी ना लगे। और रिलेशन अच्छा होगा तभी ह्यूमन बीइंग का यही होता है कि भाई वो उसका प्रॉस्पर्स ना हो। क्योंकि एक डायलॉग है ना, ओनिडा टीवी में आता था, यू रिमेम्बर दैट, ओनर्स प्राइड नेबर्स एनवी। मतलब आपका प्रॉपर्टी बढ़ेगा तो आपका नेबर वाले जलेंगे आपको देख के, इसलिए नहीं जलेंगे कि उनका प्रॉपर्टी कम हो गया, आपका बढ़ गया तो जलेंगे। बट सुपरवाइजर विल नॉट डू लाइक दिस, प्लीज रिमेंबर। सुपरवाइजर विल बी हैप्पी व्हेन यू ग्रो आप इन लाइफ। इसलिए बोलते हैं ना, जब स्टूडेंट अगर टीचर से ऊपर जाएगा तभी तो स्टूडेंट टीचर खुश होता है। ये एक ही जगह, अदर जगह पे नहीं होता है। ओके, सो हाउ योर रिलेशनशिप शुड बी विद द सुपरवाइजर? ओके, it is a win-win situation for both, as I told you. You get a publication, also supervisor gets a publication, because दोनों का नाम रहता है। But you do not think that you are doing for supervisor, you are doing for yourself, because this is the system here. Okay, Without supervisor's name, you cannot do. Of course, there is a concept is there also. Self-guided PhD is also there, but very rarely people do it. So if you dare to do it yourself, you can do it. Okay. There are many reasons you should not create a conflicting situation with supervisor, but sometimes it happens also. You cannot avoid. Okay. And important question: how to select a supervisor? I will say, whatever may be, the final and the best thing should be you should have a good relation with the supervisor. Good relation means what you say, tune up you say. अगर रिलेशन अगर अच्छा नहीं होगा तो आप काम अच्छा करेंगे लेकिन हमेशा प्रॉब्लम रहेगा. बट यू शुड नॉट डू समथिंग लाइक जो जसपाल भट्टी वाला कॉमेडी में दिया है. इट शुड नॉट बी लाइक दैट. I can give my experience of how to select a supervisor. It is my experience or my recommendation, but it may not be true always. Okay. Philosophy of life is that as you grow and become older, your ability and energy to do work will decrease. But it may not be true for every person. Okay. So you should try to select a younger person. I may be whatever tips I am giving may be also boomerang for me, because when I become old also I will not get PhD students. But I recommend that one only. If you have to select between two, it should be younger one, with the assumption that younger one will be more energetic. But it may not be true always. Please remember. That is also warning is there. Second thing, your topic is also important, because the topic is going to give the job to you. Okay. Topic is important. Your topic should be futuristic. For example, today you have two options to select. One is hydrogen energy, one is petrol engine. Okay. So I hope you understand better which topic to select. Which one is best? Hydrogen, because hydrogen is the future. Petrol was the past. But maybe there may be lot of scope to do in petrol also. But why you should select hydrogen energy? Because it may happen if you select this topic or faculty with this topic, your PhD you may get in 3 years, because the duration will be decided by many factors. And here it may take 6 years also. Okay. But please remember, whatever may be the duration of PhD does not matter, because until you finish PhD, you are a research scholar. That means your designation is very much respectable. But the day you defended, you are a jobless fellow. Please understand. Today morning, you have not, today 4 p.m. is your thesis defense. That means you are a student, you are engaged. But at 5 p.m., you are a jobless fellow, because today it demands, if you want to apply for an assistant professor job, your PhD degree should be in your hand. Okay. And you got the degree at 5 p.m. But 5 p.m. you are not going to get the job. So vacancy may come tomorrow. You will apply. After 3 months, there will be an interview. After 6 months, there will be a result. Then you will join. So these 6 months, you will be jobless. Okay, doctor but jobless. So people will ask, अरे इतने दिन क्या कर रहे थे, है ना? But कभी नहीं पूछेंगे कि तुम 6 साल क्यों लगाया PhD में. Nobody will ask you. They may ask you, but they will not take it negatively. So does not matter whether you take 3 years or 5 years or 6 years in PhD, but वो finally पूछेंगे कितना publication है तुम्हारे पास. That means if you get 3 years PhD with 1 publication and 7-year PhD with 10 publication, I personally will say this is better, because your chances of getting job will be better. It may happen कि दोनों एक साथ शुरू करते हैं, ये 3 years के बाद ये next 4 years ये jobless ही रहेगा, because one publication you will find difficult, because there will be so many candidates with more publication. Your CV will not be shortlisted. So you should go on working. unless you are in a comfortable zone. क्योंकि अभी और 6 महीना रहेंगे, it's like this. Your output will go something like this. पहले साल में इतना ही आउटपुट है, दूसरा साल में इतना, तीसरा में इतना, फोर्थ में, फिफ्थ में, सिक्स्थ में. You see here, 1 year में आउटपुट डबल हो सकता है. So your job getting chances will be more. So it is worth investing this extra time towards, because अभी आप educated हो गए ना, ये तो learning period था, then now it is educated period. So these small things also you should keep in mind. But that does not mean you will go on infinity. For example, in India presently you are getting a scholarship for 5 years. Always the objective should be complete the degree as early as possible. But if you feel you are in a comfortable position to grab a job, then you should submit at the earlier. Otherwise, you can take this full 5 years opportunity to get publication, and sometimes after 5 years also you will not get scholarship, but you have to pay from your pocket by getting support from your parents. But sometimes it is worth to stay for 6 months or 1 year also, because this 6 months or 1 year it may give more publication than the last 5 years or 6 years like that. Clear? Okay. Here are some facts, like research is always a difficult topic, and every research involves some level of risk also. Time क्या हुआ? 12:30 होता है. Sometimes you will find out you will not get any progress also in that direction. Okay, and there will be always a fear of failure. This will discourage you. But every job has a risk. Like for example, if you become a truck driver also, उसमें भी risk है. रोड में जा रहे तो कहाँ पे एक्सीडेंट होगा. If you work in a mining, उसमें भी risk है, कभी भी माइन दब सकता है. Every job. If you are a CEO also, उसमें भी रिस्क है. क्या रिस्क है? कभी कंपनी किसी दूसरे आदमी खरीद भी सकता है, तो आप जॉबलेस हो जाओगे, फिर वो नया ओनर आपको निकल देगा. अदरवाइज इन अनदर पर्सपेक्टिव, सीईओ बहुत सारा मीटिंग अटेंड करना है, कल अमेरिका, परसों यूरोप फ्लाइट में जाना है, तो फ्लाइट भी गिर सकता है कभी अटलांटिक में. तो एवरीवेयर देयर इज ए रिस्क, बट दैट शुड नॉट मोटिवेट यू नॉट टू टेक research as a field. Okay, and then some reality of research, like you expect how the research should look like. You expect like this diagram कि हमारे पास एक प्रोटोटाइप है और इसको हम कुछ DAQ सिस्टम लगाया, वो डाटा हम ले रहे हैं कंप्यूटर से और सिस्टम को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं यूजिंग सम कंट्रोलर, and we are taking the data like you want to represent this. So you create a nice diagram there to present in your thesis, but actually this will be your actual experimental setup, look something like this. Anybody who is doing here experimental work from online participants or offline can share your experience. Okay, so research is not so clean as it looks like. The product you are seeing today is the final output, but in the developmental stage it looks something like this only. Okay, for example, you see, I will share my own experience. This is the schematic representation of the experimental setup. Basically, I can say the photograph I have taken from a PhD thesis explaining what work I was doing. It is a very simple work. Civil engineering will understand. Oh, it is something called canal, flow of water. एक channel में पानी जाता है. It is same. We have a one canal here, but the size of the canal was what we call as a micro channel. तो इसका जो hydraulic diameter है 0.4 mm. You cannot see in your naked eye. Okay, and also this is in mechanical engineering. We do not use open channels. Mechanical engineering we use closed channels. So we cover it from the top, because always a flow will be at high pressure. अगर leak होगा तो पानी निकल जाएगा. So simple working fluid is water only. And since the hydraulic diameter channel size is very small, flow rate is also obviously very small, 2 ml per minute or even lesser than that one. So we need a pump, but it is a micro pump, not an ordinary pump. Okay, and here we are heating here. This is application of electronics cooling. And we are measuring pressure, temperature using a data acquisition system. And whatever water gets heated, we are re-cooling it to the original temperature using a condenser, maintaining the temperature with the help of a constant temperature bath. Okay, again feeding it. That means इधर वाटर ये गोल गोल घूमता रहेगा और कुछ नहीं है. उसको गर्म करो ठंडा करो, गर्म करो ठंडा करो, बस. That was the PhD experiment only. Okay, very simple, very nice way presented to explain what I was doing. But this is the actual setup. Can you identify anything here in this photograph? This is the actual photograph. Can anybody able to identify any of the components items here? I think you can understand. This is a monitor. Okay, easiest one. This is a keyboard, and here you see a computer device there. And this is something what you call electrical people to control the heat in current input. Okay, and rest of the things probably not clear. Even you can see that whatever you see, these are the aluminum frames you can see. So I have not used any standard table, rather than I customized it myself to the requirement, and everything is there below the table level. And here you can see one board is there. That board is also not fixed to this one, because I do not know whether I need some additional things also here. So it is just I have kept one plain board only there. Above that I have kept the computer. Okay, this is what you call as the constant temperature bath. This is the micro pump. This is the condenser. This is the constant temperature. Sorry, this is the tank here. And this is the system, this is the DAQ, and DAQ is connected to the computer. So whatever you saw on the diagram, it is same thing. But everyone can understand from here. But you cannot understand nothing from here unless and until you worked on this system. So this is the reality of research, and this is how the presentation of the research. Okay. So now you need to search for this one here. ये diagram को उसमें ढूंढना है. So here you find out. You can see here. You go there. Constant temperature bath, micro pump, TED section, condenser, DAQ system. Okay, this is the loop here. So here you see, this is the loop. Okay. Then many questions come to your mind. How to do the scientific research, how to publish results, is it important, how to plan my thesis. So many questions are there. We will try to answer these questions during the course of this program. And here are a few tips for the research scholars. You see, whatever direct written, I have used my brains. Whatever you see, these are screenshots I have taken from the internet directly. With my assumption, or I was influenced that what is written here is correct, may not be 100% correct. Okay. So being a research scholar, what things you should keep in mind and make a habit is that work regularly. Okay. ऐसा नहीं कि एक हफ्ता फुल फ्लेज काम करोगे फिर अगर नेक्स्ट वीक यू विल एंगेज योरसेल्फ इन मूवी वाचिंग फ्रॉम DC++. Okay, so if you engage yourself in work, you will not feel boring. Okay, so if you beyond a level, you will enjoy the work always. Okay. And you should make some planning. So how much time you want to give dedicatedly for research, how much time for your entertainment, how much time for everyday needs, like that everything. You should have a routine. It should not be random. Routine means if you want to wake up, you should wake up every day 5 a.m. Okay. Then 5 to 7, you can do some study at, if you are staying in a hostel, study at hostel. Then 7 to 9, your bath, breakfast, etc. Then 9 reach to the lab. You continuously work for 1. Okay. Then you go for the lunch break. Again you come at 2. Like that you should have a routine. Okay. लेकिन उसके बीच में फेसबुक के लिए आधा घंटा नहीं डालना है. Whatever time you devote on Facebook, it gives a growth of Mark Zuckerberg. I think he is the owner of Facebook. Yes or no? और आप जितना फेसबुक खोलते हो ये इतना रीच होता है, आप उतना टाइम लॉस करते हो. And here you see what to do. A good practice is that you should summarize your work periodically. You should report it to your supervisor. Okay, whatever you have achieved, then you can plan for what to do for the coming weeks. So it should be planning you. Otherwise, you stand to be haphazardly randomly. So only research will move in a proper direction. Okay. And now the world is moving in such a way that this cartoon tells many things. You just read it. Hopefully, you will try to understand. It says there are three persons talking with some fire. My friends, as a result of our experiment, we have just lost a dear valued colleague, but we gained a publication. मतलब वो experiment में कुछ तो किया जिसमें कि कुछ हो गया. One student also died. So they are happy because they got a publication of this experiment, but they lost a friend also. So if you are doing experiment, you should be very much cautious. If your experiment deals with something explosive or something like that, even sometimes fire or some incidents also happen. Like recently, our institute for battery explosion some happened 1-2 days back. So it may happen with your battery also, because you are using a computer. Computer remains switched on for a long time, so you should switch off it periodically. You should observe the system also. It's not like that you engage yourself in research, you forget to check the temperature of your desktop, etc. Everything you should keep in mind. If you're getting a little bit of burning smell somewhere, you should apply your brain. It may be from your experimental setup, or maybe your friend setup also. Okay, so this is a photograph from my previous workshop. That was 100% in the physical mode, and now because of COVID scenario, this time we started it as a both option. Whoever interested for physical mode, they invited to come here, and whoever attended in online mode, they were asked to attend it online mode. So this was the formal slide for this talk here, and from now onwards, I think we will go most of the talks without slides only. So if you have any questions, I will take up. Otherwise, we will move forward for the next talk. किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन है? Till so far, whatever we covered. Online participants.
Hello, sir.
Any question? Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Myself,
Good afternoon.
Gaurav Kumar. Sir, my question is, what is the difference between search and research?
Search and research. Simply, research means again search and search and search. That means somebody has already searched, you again search it. That is called research. It is simple definition. Okay. And I told you why you need to do multiple search, because you need to explore new and new things. That's why you have to research. I will tell you my simple experience. One day something idea came to my mind. I thought it can lead to a publication, so I was excited. But it is part of publication. You know, when you write a research article, there is something called literature review. Why it is there? That you can understand from experience. And when I started writing that one, I did the literature review, and I found that exactly same work is already reported in the year 1974. I was excited for some time. I was expecting a good publication, but somebody already published. Because of searches, I came to know that one. Kid is already published.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, any more questions? Anybody having any question, or we will move forward? Okay, fine. So here I assume that there are very few of our participants are PhD holders or PhD holders. Most of them are either doing PhD or planning to do their PhD in future. We will talk everything in relation to this one. So that's why my next topic I have written to be understanding PhD thesis requirement. Because finally our objective is to get a PhD. Okay. Being a faculty, my objective is how my student will get PhD, and being a student, his or her objective is how to get my PhD. Okay. So finally it is how to get PhD only. So if the question is how to get PhD, you should understand what is the requirement for getting a PhD. I explained you when you will get PhD, but that needs to be on a measurable scale. Otherwise, you will say, I have created a dent. I will say, no, you have not created a dent. It cannot happen. Okay. The first question is, what is the requirements for getting your PhD degree? So to get a PhD degree, you need a completely written thesis. That means your thesis should be ready. Then you can think that okay, now I will get the degree, but that is also not guaranteed. So you understand what is a thesis? The thesis for a doctoral degree constitutes a original contribution of new knowledge. That means it should not be copy paste from somebody. It should be your own creation. That does not exist yesterday. It is because of your research only the knowledge is there today. As I told you, that is nothing but the dent. So that you should first have. उतना होने के बाद आप थीसिस लिखेंगे. थीसिस कंप्लीट होने के बाद you will think I am eligible to get a degree, and there are some protocols are there here. So whatever work you do here, it must show the familiarity with the previous work. That means in your thesis you should also report earlier work, the what we call as the literature review, and there you will make a story that earlier this work is done, this was not done, and I have done this work because of this result I got. This is a new result. It was not existing yesterday. Today it exists because of my work only. Okay, that is called conclusion in a scholarly manner. Okay, and important is the research you are presenting. That is whatever the things you have concluded based on your research, it should be of current standard. If you are proposing some topic very outdated, nobody will accept it. Okay. And how it advances the knowledge in the field. That means you have to tell how it will be useful for the society. That's why those who have already submitted manuscript, you might have experienced. The first question is, what is the practical relevance? इसका output क्या कहाँ use होगा? You will say नहीं किसी का use नहीं वैसे मेरा एक publication होगा. वो बोलेगा नहीं, then we will not accept it. So that's why it's a emerging topic I told you. For example, today if you take hydrogen energy, that means you will tell this will be used in creating a hydrogen vehicle, producing hydrogen, getting electricity to solve the energy crisis. Like that, you can make a story. Okay. Finally, the thesis must be written in compliance with the norms for academic and scholarly expression and for publication in the public domain. That means you see here, you did experiment, everything, you got fine result, very good. But it is there in your brain only or between you and your supervisor. It should be disseminated to the rest of the world. So उसके लिए आपको return form चाहिए. Or it should be also nice form. There is a standard is there. You will use the, for example, here in India we write in the English language. Language should be also, grammar should be correct. Otherwise, you want to tell something but you have written something else because of your wrong grammar. So knowledge of English grammar is also very important for getting your PhD degree. And it is a one major factor also in being your paper being rejected or being accepted. Because of grammar also it gets rejected. Okay. And there will be some academic norms are there, like someone told ki they need 2 SCI paper and 1 Scopus paper like this. Every institute have their own norms are there. And minimum period, that means you should have completed a minimum 3 years or minimum this much hours of research credit. It varies from institute to institute. So you should fulfill all the criteria, this academic criteria as well as this research criteria. After that, you should write the thesis systematically. Then what will happen? After you write it, then you will submit for getting a doctoral degree. Okay. So what is the purpose of this thesis? The purpose of the thesis is to explain the conclusion, that is the conclusion you reach because of your research work or because of the project. So normally in many cases, students work on a project. Project means a problem for the society. Like you might have working on a project of developing a fuel cell based vehicle. Whatever the PhD research work I did, and the thesis title I can tell you here, I can write also. It says hydrodynamics of internal convective flows in mini micro channel. Okay, this is the title. Thermohydrodynamics of internal convective flow in mini micro channel. So in simple, I can say, why also I have told you little bit. We consider a micro channel. So you can say it is just like a pipe or something, small dimension, fluid is flowing. We are heating here. Thermo means heating, cooling. Hydrodynamics means fluid mechanics problem, flow of fluid. Okay, so basically we are studying heating, cooling, and fluid mechanics point of view. From thermal point of view, fluid mechanics point of view, what is happening when a fluid is flowing through this channel? That was the studying. But what is its practical use? Its practical use, like I was working here, this working fluid was ethanol water mixture at different proportion. Different proportion means one is pure water is there, one is pure ethanol, and in between you can have mixture of different ratios. Okay. So what was its practical relevance? Practical relevance that there is a method called steam reforming of ethanol. What is steam reforming of ethanol? It is a method to produce hydrogen. So if you go through the literature, you will find out there are a lot of methods of hydrogen production is there. So in one of the discussion, I will present one of my what do you call a review article also on this topic. There are so many methods of hydrogen production is there. Out of that, I selected this method. This method says that from ethanol you can produce hydrogen. And what is the use of hydrogen? Now we are shifting to a we are looking for a source which is renewable in source, that means unlimited in form, and not bad for our environment. So hydrogen is found to be one good way which can be used in a fuel cell, because in a fuel cell it will take hydrogen and oxygen, it will combine, plus electrons will flow. Flow of electron is nothing but electricity, and it will give you water droplets. So that's why if you do Google, you will see hydrogen based vehicle. You will find out nowadays hydrogen based buses are also started running. Okay, so it needs basically it will have a fuel cell. That means it is nothing but electric bus, electric technology. So you are generating electricity inside the bus only or inside the vehicle only instantly. So what is the concept? The concept is, for example, suppose we will develop a one two-wheeler. Today's two-wheeler have a one tank petrol only. Maybe tomorrow's two-wheeler running on this concept will have two tanks. One is ethanol tank, one is water tank, and there will be some mechanism to adjust the mixture. इसमें 5 लीटर डालो, इसमें 5 लीटर डालो, आपका गाड़ी बोलेगा कि 300 किलोमीटर जाएगा. तो इथेनॉल वाटर मिक्स होगा. Then whatever this mixture is heated to 600 degree centigrade. So 873 Kelvin. So it becomes a steam. Gaseous form of this mixture. And when this gaseous form of this mixture passes over a catalysis, who are from chemical or chemistry background, they will understand, passes over a catalysis. when they comes in contact, because of reaction, hydrogen will be liberated or generated. So it is a chemical process. So to make it contact means you need more surface area. So for example, you just assume one plate is there, above the plate you have the catalysis, like a paint आप लगा दिया, उसके ऊपर इसको flow करेंगे. So this is a chemical problem, chemical engineer or chemistry fellow. But heating to 600 degrees centigrade, 873 Kelvin, it is a energy generating device. Heating is a energy consuming thing. So एनर्जी जनरेट करने के लिए फिर एनर्जी खर्चा करना पड़ेगा. अभी 2 रुपया उठाने के लिए अगर 5 रुपया खर्चा होगा, इज इट नॉट वर्थ ना. सो यू नीड टू अप्लाई योर ब्रेन की हीटिंग में मिनिमम एनर्जी कैसे यूज होगा. Online participants, are you getting my voice?
Not clearly, sir. No, sir, it is not audible now.
Online participants are getting my voice. Please respond.
No, it's breaking, sir.
Okay, actually there is a power cut was there for just 1 minute, so it will take maybe one.
Okay, sir.
So there is a power cut. The mixture will produce hydrogen. That hydrogen will use it in a fuel cell to produce electricity. So that means my work was not directly anywhere related to produce hydrogen, but it is a one part of the total research towards producing hydrogen. So this was a on a project I was working. It was a around 5 crore project for developing a portable hydrogen generation device. So there were 4 faculty members who were involved in the project, 2 from chemical engineering, 2 from mechanical engineering. So my aspect from being a mechanical engineer to look into fluid mechanics and heat transfer in the small channels. Small channels, surface area per unit volume is high. That's why we decided for small channels. Okay. So sometimes you will see whatever you are working actually is different from what is its actual use. So if I will tell you I am working on a hydrogen generation, people were expecting where is your hydrogen? So in my thesis, if you search everywhere, there is no hydrogen. Only at 2-3 places I might have written whatever I told you. So this is application towards hydrogen generation. So like this, your actual work may be far away from the application, but your input is very much essential towards development of that particular technology or that one. So now it is already 1 p.m. So we will go for the lunch break now. Again, we will meet at 2:30. So online participants, are you able to see hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now we will take the lunch break here 1 to 2:30. So we will again meet at 2:30 and we will continue
till 6:30. I hope you will have a good meal and energy to continue the second session for today. And you can log out from here now. You can close your Microsoft Team. Again, you log in at that time 2:30. So what we will again switch on this Microsoft Team at 2:20. So please do not log in before 2:20. Once we log in into this Microsoft Team, at 2:20 you can start logging in. You can take 10 minutes time and we will start at 2:30. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.